on Mastering the Art of Negotiation, to be conducted by Mr. Shyam Prasad. Mr. Prasad is an alumni of our institute. He's from the batch of 2008 Mechanical Engineering. Later, he completed his MBA from National Institute of Industrial Engineering, and currently he's working as a senior manager, demand and market planning, SNOP lead at PNG Personal Healthcare. So this was a bit formal, but let's come to the amazing part. He's the perfect person to describe a multi-talented, who fits perfect for the definition of the multi-talented. His skills include demand and supply planning, inventory management, distribution planning, sales and operation processing, supply chain strategies, Six Sigmas, and the most important one, which we are here to discuss, the contract negotiation and the vendor management. He has a 10-year experience in the industries and has worked at a very wide range of companies and reputed companies, which are actually too long to say and too impressive to skip out. So without further ado, I would request her to welcome our crowd, and we are really eager to listen what you have to say.
Okay. Thank you, Divyansh. Hi everyone. Bit background is a bit chaos, so let me shut off my camera. So I'll keep talking. Okay. So first of all, thanks for taking your time for joining, and it's always a pleasure, to interact with our own alumni, right? So IITBH is always been a very kind of pleasure for me. Of course, I'm planning from some time, but couldn't actually visit the campus. So how is it, guys? How is the mechanical engineering doing now these days? So anyone can talk. Nothing much. No restrictions as such.
Okay.
So are the grades going good?
Okay, still. Anji sir, it's nice. Mechanical props are still strict, and
Okay.
Kshitij Bihar is over here from the mechanical branch. I guess he's the best person to say.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Actually, I am from mechanical only. So as Divyansh rightly pointed out, that professors are still strict. Since our semesters has been online for almost more than a year, so people have lost their interest in mechanical comparatively than earlier years, and in the current scenario of corona pandemic, a lot of professors were found corona positive as well, though many of them have recovered and some are still in the same phases. This online semester has created a havoc for us, especially for core branches, because people are losing out their interest um, in the process.
Okay. So still that essence of mechanical is still there, that toughness, right? So
yeah.
So when we used to sit for campus placements, right, in final year, so all the big companies used to come, and it used to go all departments CGPA of 9, and mechanical any CGPA can sit. So that used to run there. The grades used to be very, very tough. I think from my batch, even today when they go to IIMs or any business schools, still they have to explain that factor. So why is your gradation score not too good, right? So it still haunts us. But having said, you get to learn a lot of things from the toughness as well, right?
Indeed, sir.
Yeah. So I think quite a good number of students have joined, so we can proceed, right?
Anji sir.
Yes. Okay, let me share some content. Can you see this?
Hello? Divyansh, you are on mute. No, sir, not now.
It takes some time. Not now, actually.
Okay.
Sometimes it takes some 20 to 30 seconds.
So meanwhile, guys, I think feel free to talk anything you would like to, because we like to keep it interactive, not nothing much of formal or something like that. So would love to hear your views or anything where you want any kind of support, anything you can talk, whether for your future assignments or your what you are planning, is it good or bad, or anything you can share. Okay. Uh, Divyan, can you share my screen now?
No, sir. Maybe I guess you after presenting, there on bottom you have to select which window you have to present. No,
Mm-hmm.
it is presenting, right?
Okay.
Yes.
Is,
Okay. Now it's visible, sir.
is it okay?
Yeah. It's perfectly fine.
Okay, so we'll talk of negotiation. So see again. So I don't want to confuse you people or share very tough ideas. What you would not be in a position to resonate, right? So you are still studying and do not have corporate working life. So I try to keep it as close as possible. Okay, as relevant as possible. So I'll just try to give you that basic. Things which you may uh, keep adding on in the future, so that you could understand the topic, right? Okay, so so first of all, like because I keep interacting with students from IITs, who join our company into FMCG space, right? So so I try to bring in what is the major gap what I see in the students. So again, explaining this arts versus science. So as you know, like identifying your core group of people, so you're all proficient in your own background, you're the cream of India, right? Coming from an allied background of academic excellence. So you have your own you are very strong in your STEM area, be it science, technology, engineering, maths. So this is where we are all strong in, right? But we are not very strong in arts, right? So arts is something where we is the gap for us. For all the engineers, what we see is that's a major gap over there. And so I think the best thing what we can clearly explain this is through two gentlemen over here. So one is Mr. Manmohan Singh. You know, he's very technical, very may not be into science, but very technical, coming from a very allied background of academic institutions like you. But just have at the background of your mind. So how does he sound, right? And there's another gentleman, Mr. Modi, who is a prime minister, right? How confident he resembles, right? So he doesn't have an very allied background, allied academic institutions, anything as such. But this gentleman is very confident, very knows what the pulse of the people, right? So so it shouldn't be like having more knowledge is more confusions kind of syndrome. So what do we see today, people, when we go for interview or anything? So people come up with more confusion, right? Less clarity of thought. So first of all, understand, like we don't know completely on any topic, right? Know our ignorance. So accept our ignorance. We don't know, right? So be it mechanical engineering, be it anything. So we are not bound to know 100% of anything, of everything, right? We know what we know, right? If we are strong in a particular area, we may know not 100%, maybe 70%, 60%, right? So at the end of the day, you should be very clear and express your clarity and soundness in whatever you know. Whether see, for example, of Modi, even if he talks of about supply chain problems, about logistics, about something COVID, he doesn't know much, but but he's the way of communicating doesn't sound that. Always he's very, very clear on whatever he know, right? So this is one of the key things what we have to understand. So in life, or whenever you go, whether you go for interviews or you start working in a corporate company, so what is much essential is have very clarity, be very clear, be very have develop that attitude of clarity and soundedness. Okay, be very clear. If you know, you know. If you don't know, it's okay, right? You need not be offended or feel guilty that you don't know something, right? So I'll tell you one of the key things when we started, like for mechanical, right? When we started mechanical engineering, and when professors used to ask us questions, so we used to feel offended that you don't know this. So this is something from you used to have those physics and maths books, right? So you don't know this. So feeling a kind of guilty. So what happens over the period of time in that bunch of people is, so whenever somebody asks, when you answer only when you know, and when you don't know, you don't open up your mouth, right? Or somebody bullies you, right? So the intent of making a point over here is, whether you know or don't know, always make it a point to express yourself. Make it a point to express your clarity of thought, whatever it is, right? Always remember, arts, so science, no doubt you are the boss, right? No one can compete with you. You are the cream of India, right? So for us, that's absolutely given. So you need to master the arts part of it. When you say art, master the arts. So start with communication, start with confidence, sound more clarity. Uh, so these things should come up as part of your arts. Try to develop these kind of skills within yourself. So these would take you to a long way in your corporate life, be it in your interviews, etc. Okay. So any queries here? Anyone want to share something? Come on, guys.
So, was this something you picked up from, like, you take interviews, or this is from the experience of interviews which you have given?
Yeah. So we have people coming in from IITs, right? So IITs, IIMs. So particularly the technical, the people with much of technical background, so STEM background, etc. So the people, what we have faced out is they are not opening up much, right? If they know 100%, they come up, right? See, humbleness is one thing, but having an opinion, ultimately we are dealing with people, right? When we are dealing with people, we need to open up. We need to express our views, right? You need to be assertive. So these things are very important, right?
Yes, sir.
It doesn't matter whether you are talking. I'm not saying you blindly bluff or something, throw something, speak as if you know everything, but always, never step back to make a point. Okay. Also, so I'm not just asking, I'm not saying just to crack an interview or something, but do remember, arts has a very, very good scope. So if you are very, very good at negotiating, good at very communicating, so this will, you will be, your career path will be, 5x times or 4x times, etc. So today, if you see science, most of us know. Today what is happening is, whatever you study in your mechanical engineering, or from your background, so those things don't actually resonate, right? You don't need to solve Erado problems or HC Verma's problems in your day-to-day life, be it in any sector. So until you pursue some MS or something, so when you're working for a corporate, those things don't come. You would also sometimes may agree that arts actually come in hand with you much than your science, right? Okay, let's go. So it's all about people, right? So whichever background you work, be it in politics, be it in FMCG, be it in corporate, be it in banking, it's all about people. How do you manage people? So be awesome at this. This is one of the key skills you have to develop. So ultimately understand one thing, it's the people. If you are able to manage people, that's it. Your work is done. Right? You may be joining as plant manager, some few technical people reporting to you. So you need to resonate such kind of confidence, understand your team structure, how do you negotiate with them, how do you communicate with them. These are very important, be it in corporate things, okay, or when you're having a strong argument with your boss, with somebody, you need to master these skills. These are all people skills, right? So I'm not sharing the end-to-end of how you should master. There are a lot of books, etc., in the market, or quite amount of, but you need to understand that yes, this is a kind of gray area where we still lack, or where there is a lot of improvement, or you need to identify those areas for future, so that you can pursue much learning in those key core areas to move ahead. Or you somebody may be taking up some civils or some other government services, wherein you have to deal with a bunch of common people. So how do you communicate with them? That becomes very important. So just one wild question. So let's keep people motivated. Let me not bore you all. Okay. So is there anyone in the team who is interested of taking civil services as their next career option? Hello.
Yeah, so you are audible.
Yeah. Okay.
Like they may raise their hand with that hand raise feature.
Okay. None, is it? Great. Is there anyone or none?
No, sir. I cannot see any hand raise over here.
Okay. Okay. So so understand, it's one thing. It's all about people. How do you deal with people is most important, be it in any form of industry, any sector. If you are able to master the people skills, you're almost 50%, 60% done. Because anyway, your core skills, your math, science, whatever it is, you're already the master.
Yes.
Right. So again, the ground rules for negotiation. So be what you are. Okay. So see, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't mean that you have to speak more, you have to talk more, etc. So identify who you are, right? So if you are an introvert, okay, it's okay. It doesn't matter, right? So understand where you come from, what's your background, what's your key strengths. So these form a pillar for your base. You are what you are, right? We cannot change your base. So negotiation doesn't mean you're pushing wrong things. You're articulating in a way that pushing somebody to do something. Not that. It's not playing with words smartly. It's about being authentic, being transparent, persuade to agree to a point amicably. Okay. So what are the best negotiator traits? Okay. First and foremost, suppose standing in your position, if you are a second year or a third year guy or girl, or standing here, so where do you want to see yourself, right? So if you want to improve in your negotiation, what do you have to do? So first and foremost, understand, have the ability to listen. Okay. So understand what it is, understand emotions of people, how people talk. So you have lot of resources available online, be it YouTube, etc. Right? So start understanding people, how people talk, how people communicate. There are absolutely great number of speakers, motivators. You can follow TEDx, TED Talks. Absolutely, there are many number of resources online, right? Which we don't, this internet revolution wasn't there when we were doing, graduation. So now the thing is changed. So absolutely, you have all the resources. So, so first of all, what you have to develop is ability to listen, ability to disagree when needed. Okay, so it doesn't mean that you have to agree everything. So whenever you have a point of disagreement, put your foot down, say I don't agree to it, and in a very comfortable manner, you should be disagreeing to it. Okay, so develop that's a key, one of the key traits when you're working for a corporate or something. You should have the capability to say no. Okay, ability to disagree when needed. Empathy, right? So every time empathize means put yourself in the shoes of the other stakeholder. Okay, so understand different backgrounds. So when you're working in a corporate world, so understand where the other person comes from, right? What are his school of thought, why what does he want. So put, always empathize, right? And the best part for a negotiator, the truth as well. So tolerance of critics, right? Balance of minds. See something, suppose, let's assume you have started, you are the manager in a company, and you have to fire some of your subordinates, right? So how do you keep that balance of mind? Or sometimes you have to pass on very tough message to the people down, uh, people who are working for you. Or sometimes you have to be very blunt with the senior management, right? When something is wrong, you should be having the guts to speak up and say this is wrong. So tolerance of critics and balance of mind. So how do you compose your mind, right? So sometimes what happens is, people develop a kind of depression, anxiety when dealing these kind of issues. Of course, in terms of adversity, how do we maintain that balance of mind? That's very important. It's always in the mindset, right? So the way you master your mindset, if everything is right in your mindset, so half of your work is done. So negotiation, in a way, starts from your subconscious mind. Be a team player, open-mindedness, develop a growth mindset. It will be whatever be the situation. Try to be persistent. Today the world is, very volatile, very uncertain, very ambiguous. Okay, and there's lot of competition. So always ensure that you keep unlearning whatever you whatever you learn. Okay, it's okay, I have learned thermodynamics, I've learned etc. If they are not coming up to save you, keep learning, keep relearning, right? Whatever the industry requires, right? So anyone wants to talk?
So just that learning part, like you have been to like different industries, so like you are changing your background job or something like that. Like just as a random question
Yeah,
related
yeah.
to your.
Yeah, so let me give my experience. Okay, so I started after passing out from ITBHU. Okay, I got an offer into Reliance. It's a dream job, right, for the mechanical guys. So that time they were paying good. I think it's one of the highest paying lots for them. May not be comparable to the computer folks, computer or electronics guys. So, but it was very decent one. But after working close to 3 years, I realized that I'm not a very strong guy in technical, right? So grades were normal, not very great. Of course, your mechanical department doesn't actually give you too much of grades. So grades were nominal, not too high, too low. Somehow managed to get a first class in mechanical. So after working 3 years, I realized that I'm not very keen into the technical, or does the core job actually need your core mechanical skills, right? It's getting transformed to a kind of managerial role only, right? So very basic skills. So I need not apply all your equations, etc., or do I need some thermodynamics, etc. So at that time, again, I was getting projects very interior locations. So then I thought, let me pursue some full-time MBA, right? So somehow I could crack it, and started with NITI. Again, NITI is considered to be the one of the sound institutions for supply chain, general management, and etc. So done my full-time MBA. Again, started with Honeywell into manufacturing, supply planning, production planning, purchase. So I just opened up. For me, the motive is expand your base, right? Don't restrict to a particular domain, wherein you have. I mean, that's individual's choice as well. So I started with operations, then into manufacturing, then into planning. Now I work in the corporate boardrooms. Now I work with general managers, brand teams. So so it's a part of evolution. So I I thought I have to expand my base. So I took the assignment, whatever comes to me, and took different steps. Right. Of course, there are different people. It depends on your individuals as well. There are certain people who are very good in core areas, who went on to pursue their MS in foreign very good elite institutions. There were some people who started who went on with learning the computer skills and languages, and settled in IT companies. There's some set of people who went on for IIMs, and then entirely shifted their industry, right? Leading very good profiles in banking, etc. So there are different ways, but what I suggest you is, you are an allied cream. Don't settle for anything average. Keep experimenting, keep progressing, and keep learning. I mean, if you can, please do go for higher studies, get those additional skills. Okay, so if you suppose some of you aim for civil services, go for it. That's a wonderful service. If you want to go, don't settle for anything average. Always aim for, keep your targets high. Yeah, because even I see from my batch, right? So some people, after coming from so much of tough rigorous examination and being well at elite institution, so post graduation, if they settle for something average, and some people does, so they are not doing too good, right? Which a student from IIT BHU should be, right? So that's my take. So keep progressing in life, keep experimenting, yes.
Thank you.
So yeah. Okay, so let me take you to negotiation in a corporate world. So let me take you to the example of an FMCG industry, right? So different people, there are different functions, different KPI, different goals for each of the functions, right? So marketing, it's a dream job for many of the people from IIMs, etc. Sales, negotiators, and then supply chain, finance, manufacturing. There's general manager, and then quality. So these are the different kinds of profiles typically in a FMCG layout, be it P&G, be it HUL, etc. Right? So these are all product organizations, right? You have a lot of products spread across different brands, different categories, personal care, hair care, shave care, whatnot. FMCG is a very, very big industry, and you have a lot of growth potential and a lot of scope for improvement as an individual. Okay. So how does negotiation translate here, right? So different people will have different aims. So as a brand manager, you would always try to see, if you're from marketing, you always you want to launch a very premier, video, uh, go for a premium ad shoot so that you reach to maximum number of customers. You create something boom in the market. So understand different KPI, but everyone's common goal, I think, as a company, as an industry, there would be a one common goal, that is how do you fulfill the consumer demand, right? There's a saying goes like, Amazon, when Jeff Bezos, talk to an senior leadership of his team at Amazon. So he puts one chair empty and always points out that that chair resembles the customer. So all your actions, all your functions, whatever you do, ultimately should add value for the customer. It should be a customer centric organization, which is the truth for today, right? Be it Flipkart, be it Amazon, be it any FMCG company, be any company for that matter, it has to be customer centric. So for that, there would be different functions. uh, as a career point of view, please do try to explore different verticals, uh, understand what each of the vertical does, which gives you a path, which gives you a basic understanding to how do you negotiate with them on the key matters, right? So as a supply chain, coming from supply chain, so when I deal with marketing, I understand their pain points, right? So for them, what are the pain points and what are their not so lookouts? So try to work with them on those key aspects. Okay. So basically, understand, always remember, try to understand where all the other people come from. Understand your people, empathize with them, right? The first and foremost. Then you could strategize. You could well strategize your negotiation skills, right? It's not one strategy which fits all. It's a Tyler. You cannot do it that way. It has to be customized. Once you have your understanding perfect, understanding different sects of people, where you actually to whom with which you work, so then develop a strategy of negotiation which will actually fit in there. Okay. So ultimately, you have to understand that different functions have different KPI, different understanding of the business. So it's as an individual, you have to understand, you have to develop an understanding of different insights of people. Okay, let me not. I have decided not to stretch too much of slides. It will ultimately bore you. Okay, because you have time to come to corporate world wherein you can actually experiment. So I've just drafted in very few slides for you. Okay, so that's it for negotiation from my side. I think one key takeaways. So I'm just giving you some basics wherein once you have those insights, I think I'm very sure you will be developing all those roadmaps, all these strategies, whatever you need for your future. So ultimately, understand one thing: there are two big things for success. So I recently worked with one professor from IIM Bangalore. So what he told me was there are two things. So when we are discussing what are the key things for anyone to succeed in life, right? Be it in corporate world or in any sort of world, always it's people. Define your coaches. Always, try to have coaches for you. Okay, a coach is very, very important. How do you so of course, you in the market, you can see there are a lot of life coaches, etc. But understand who could be your coach, right? So that actually makes a lot of difference. Also have some mentors. Okay, so coaches and mentors will work uh, wonders for you. Okay, and as said, always talk, talk, talk. because it's the people. You learn from people. It's not something you are working in a silo. You can develop anything. Once you have very good connections with people, good networking skills, you will develop. You will get all those things what are needed very easily. Okay, so they will actually make things easy for you in life. So always develop coaches for you. uh, Identify the right set of people, talk to them frequently. What do you think? So always what happens is, whatever we think, we develop some kind of understanding which is very biased, which is as per our convenience. We don't stretch our targets. Okay, we always, everyone goes through this phase, right? We think, okay, I will do this, when time comes I'll take this up, kind of, right? So that's the reason, that's where coaches and mentors play a very critical role. They will ensure that you are on the right track. So identify few sets of people as coaches and mentors for you, and always make a point to talk to them on a regular connect. That will work dream for you. Okay, next is books. Always read. Okay, not your mechanical engineering etc stuff I'm advocating. So to develop arts in your life, or the negotiation skills, or any part of it, right, from the personal management, these are all very important. Once you have mindset, once you have your mindset very clear, you can accomplish anything. So always have develop this understanding of books. So rather than watching many movies or somebody, so to be honest, so while we are doing engineering also, some of the we could hardly, if we learn for a couple of hours, we used to get that fatigue. We used to reach that fatigue limit. Okay, so maybe that time we should have developed some kind of uh, reading habit. So there are a lot of books available. So specific books like which I suggest, like Catalyst from Chandramouli Venkatesan, who is from an Unilever Cadbury background. I think he preaches well. Again, there are a couple of books from him. It's very good. Never Eat Alone. Again, a book which actually says the value of social currency, the value of networking, right? And then there are very good books from to develop negotiating, Never Split the Difference, or Getting S to Getting to S. There are a lot of books. Keep at least read 20 to 30 pages on a daily basis. Understand, and it's not just reading a book. Try to keep those motivational books, or the management sides of principles into practice. They'll help you a lot. All right. So with this, just two big things in life. Always do remember, if you want to succeed, make it big in life, always connect with people, develop your set of coaches, mentors, talk, and always read. Have develop a very good understanding of books. There are a lot of very very sound managerial books, business management, lot of important books, the way you have to mold your life. So they will lead to the next level of growth for you. Okay, once you come out from college, I think the next level of growth, or the next levers of growth, will be these. They are very critical. So with this, I think I'm done. So I'll open the floor for questions. Anything you have, you can talk.
Thank you, sir, for such a nice presentation. Okay, for everyone, if you are having a network connection, network issue, then do type your questions in the chat. I'll take them up. Or else you may very well unmute yourself and talk. It's fine. Okay, as it was the first lesson, the main suggestion by the sir, talk. So I really appreciate, and I really ask everyone out to just unmute themselves and ask. So I guess Suyash has currently placed this question earlier. So you may, Suyash, unmute yourself and ask if it's possible.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for this
Hi,
session.
Suyesh.
Sir, yes, sir. Hello, sir. Sir, the thing is, I feel like, yeah, I agree with the fact, and I've been trying to maintain a daily reading habit, and have been doing so successfully for a while. The question that I wanted to ask is, can in the middle of all these books that have so much knowledge and will teach us a lot, we include some books that are only read for fun and who don't have that much meaning to them but are only mysteries or something of that sort?
Hmm. Yeah. So I think, of course, there are certain novels where fiction novels, etc. So rather than reading those things, I would suggest go for management books, which have very good books. I think I can share you as well. So they actually give you an idea of what happens in the corporate and what values most. Right? There are certain things what as an individual we don't know. Like from your point of view, studying in engineering, we don't have uh, that exposure, right? So to
Yes.
take those to move to next level of growth, I think they are the very important things. See, anywhere in corporate or in your future industry, whatever you study, they don't 100% get in handy, right? Until so you have to mold yourself. It's always you have to learn. You have to learn new things and adapt yourself, right, to any kind of challenge yourself. Let me give you an example. There are very good people who come from ITBHU and then thriving in a posh banking industry. They have learned, they have done CFAs, FRM, financial risk management, certified financial these things, and they're doing they earn very lucrative salaries, etc. So that's what their passion has come for, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you have a best brains in the country, so use this. I mean, wherever you feel that's appropriate for you, put all your efforts, move ahead. So that's what I say. And negotiation, yes, I think that's a skill you would be. So see, once you have it in your back of the mind, which is important, definitely that pulls you to learn much, right?
Yes. Yes. Sir, I had one more question. Sir, I have typed it out in the chat box, but I can repeat it if. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'll repeat it. Sir, the question is how important is empathy when it comes to negotiations? And should we only make negotiations or participate in negotiations based on rational or logical stuff, or include a certain proportion of empathy to them as well?
Yes. So just understand, see, suppose let me give you an example of corporate world, right? So everyone comes from allied institutions. Everyone is skilled. Everyone is an IIM or something, IITs, etc. So everyone comes from a very strong background. So so do you expect that making whatever you make an argument, so people will understand you? Okay. So it's not just the usage of words. You should always try to empathize, right? Empathize as in understand uh, what the other people is meaning to you, right? Where does he come from? What is his pain point? And then when you talk, they will understand, right? You have to complement each other. When you're working in a company, it's the team game, right? So obviously he will have some pain point, so you have to complement it. Sometimes you cannot fulfill everything, right? Suppose let me say you are leading a plant, you are a factory manager, and you want to produce, you want your factory to run at full throttle, to have your all your efficiency, but the marketing team is not able to sell in the market. Then what do? So complement each other. So sit with him, understand what he can sell, if is there any kind of discounting offers he can make, so that express your sort of pain to him, and talk to him in a transparent way. uh, what happens in a corporate world is the transparency lacks. Everyone tries to be outsmart each other, and everyone doesn't consider empathize with other. So that's where the struggle begins, and where people have experienced these sleepless nights, lot of anxiety, lot of depression, lot of career, whether my job would remain or would they sack. So those things.
Yes. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
So, I want to ask, how has the negotiation skill helped you being a better management person? Because there's a difference between being a boss and a leader. So, how has negotiation helped you over there? Was I audible? Data farming. Hello. Sure.
There seems to be some issue with sir. So
Sir
we
left.
will rejoin.
Actually, sir didn't left. Actually, I guess his battery was quite low. I was seeing that. He's in the lobby. Okay, I'm admitting him. He's in the lobby.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Hanji, sir.
Okay.
You're audible.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so I was asking now, but Shashwat has a doubt, so
Oh,
you may
yeah.
go first. So,
Thank you for the session, sir. I had two quick questions. My first question is that how can we take forward the negotiation if the other party has a different standard of fairness? While negotiating, we feel that their standard is also fair, but at the same time, we don't want the thing to go above from what we have imagined.
If the party has a different standard of fairness in a particular negotiation.
Yeah, different standard of fairness to for the to come to terms of the negotiation agreement. So just to give you an idea, so for example, if there is if we are negotiating a salary with, let's say, if a manager is negotiating a salary with an employee, then manager might be from a startup, and he might have limited funds to give to the employee, and the employee can actually tell that, okay, this is the standard industry amount that I might be getting if I join a big company. So in that case, how should we proceed the negotiation?
Okay. So yeah, so I think very apt point. I think very relevant for you. Yeah, so always make a point to quote, try to quote what is real, right? So like you said, so this is the industry norm and this is X, Y, Z. This is the kind of thing. So always put that quote. Talk on stats numbers, okay, statistical numbers. So this is what it is, X, Y, Z, and don't try to avoid bluffing or try to this thing. Put what is transparent, what is straight away, and yeah, and stick to your point, right? Don't whatever comes to you, put your points of reasonability. So this is what I believe, and this is where what it is, right? So this is one, and see, every negotiation, don't try to win every time, right? There will be some times where you have to forgo also, right? Yeah, but put your thing. So I think what happens is, people start with one discussion and it leads to another set of discussion altogether. So avoid that. Stay at one point and keep building on what you believe. Keep sharing what it is. I think that's the key thing.
Okay, got it. Thanks a lot.
So other than negotiation, also, if anyone wants to talk anything about their career, what anything, also can talk.
Sir, I have one question.
Yeah, sure.
In terms of negotiations in life only, that it happens a lot of times that we have to say no to some people, and it is actually not easy for us to say no. So
Right.
what can be what should be the situation in which we should say no, and how can we effectively develop it into our habit when required, because we hesitate to say no a lot of times.
Right, right. I think this is one of the key points what you have said. Absolutely right. So what happens is like most of us come from a very humble background, very always saying yes, always obeying parents, always saying yes to everything, right? So it becomes very difficult in the back of our mindset to say no, right? Even if you say no, it haunts you, right? You wouldn't get sleep. Oh, I have said no, and you'd be brooding over this, thinking repeatedly over that, right? So this is one of the key areas where you need to work. If you say it yes, just keep that point to that thing itself. Don't carry on that kind of burden to your rest to your individual life or something, right? Something in sometimes in life you have to take tough stands, right? So stick to that and maintain your work life balance.
Yes,
So,
sir.
so first and foremost, it has to be in your mindset that you have to be very clear. Even if you say no, be a rock solid guy. Have thick skin. Don't fear or don't think too much on one thing. I have said no because it's your choice. So stay on to that.
Right, sir. Got it. Thank you for the answer.
Yeah.
Shashwat doesn't have a question. So actually, I was asking, how has the negotiation helped you being a better manager? Because obviously you have to deal with people. So
Hmm.
there's a difference between being a leader and a boss. So
Hmm.
how has these techniques helped you being a better leader?
Right. I mean, I'll share my own individual experiences. So I faced a lot of challenges in my work life. So because I deal with from the business from the the role I was handling. So I have to deal with the senior leadership who are senior directors, vice presidents, etc. So sometimes it becomes very difficult to say no to them, right? And it haunts you. You think too much on the those, and sometimes you have sleepless nights as well. So that's when I wouldn't say I'm 100% perfect. I'm the master of this game, but over the period of time, I have developed the skill. Developed that kind of thickness, right? So play whatever. Like it's I look it as a cricket game, right? So like an IPL, like Hardik Pandya, go and play six. Don't think too much on it, and just wait. Play on your instincts, right? Think too much. I mean, do your homework, do your background, do your all those uh, homework properly, and then play with your instincts. Don't ever think too much on these things. Sometimes you have to say no. Your mindset happens. Sometimes you'll fall flat also. So that's where you'll gain those experiences, and next time you'll be doing better. I think uh, I mean, keep playing. That's what I'm saying. Even if you fail, that will motivate you to learn how you can improve in the next step. So sometimes I have a very bad fight with some of the senior team. So some other team members told me that this is what you need to improve. This cannot be very straightforward. So those things I'm picking up, right? Yeah.
If not anyone else, I had another doubt too.
Yeah.
So you said about having a coach or a mentor. So
Yeah.
like, did you got anyone in the college life, or you were talking about your corporate life where you got any mentor?
Okay. Yeah. Perfect. So coach, if I say, I think this as a concept, like I don't know it when I'm graduating, right? These are the things which I've developed over the years. So even I have some friends from my batchmates who are very, very good. I think I treat them as coaches for me, right? uh, who are I think one of the best things you have in ITBHU is you have a fantastic set of people, right, with the different backgrounds and different strengths. So always keep in touch with them, have a very strong networking thing. I think that makes real wonders. So I keep talking to certain group of people whom I can resonate with, and they give me a lot of motivation. And I think sometimes what happens is, you get cornered, and there's a confirmation bias where you think what you are doing is right. You always try to justify that, right, even if you are not right. So always talk to your best people, right? So that is one from your batchmates or your seniors or this thing. Or there are coaches also, very good coaches these days, in terms of corporate life or professional life. Do maintain, or when you go into a corporate life, uh, identify some people from a different background, right? Suppose you are in a supply chain, so talk to somebody in sales, some senior leadership, approach them, talk to them, maintain good relations, and identify them. I mean, they may not directly help you, so pick up the one thing where he can help you, right? You need to make that make those things, right? Suppose today, suppose I'll say there's a one person in marketing who helps me, right? So sometimes if I have anything not so going good, so I go to him and talk what should have been done, right? So he gives me very fair good amount of idea. I mean, what is this? His analysis actually helps me to think better. So this is one. Also, there are the saying goes like, when you're working in a corporate, you need to have mentors. Mentors are the ones who spread positive things about you, right? What happens is, even if you're doing very good things, people don't make those things reveal to the. Some people work very good. They're very good at things, and they add so much of value, but they are not recognized. That's where these mentors come in. When you have mentors who would actually do that a kind of advertising for you within the company, it helps, right? So these are very I mean, very easy to say, but these are the things you have to master. So always look for coaches, always look for mentors, because it's the people who makes a lot of differentiation in your life.
Yes.
Don't I mean, today it's a lot of artificial
So just to
intelligence.
add on to that,
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
okay. Thanks. So, sir, how do we approach a mentor? So, for example, I have had this many doubt that I have identified the need, the importance of having a mentor. But the reason I stop myself from approaching them is that I don't know how it would proceed if they say yes. Because what is there any particular timeline the mentor mentee need to meet? And because they are sparing their precious time, what can I do for them in return? Because that would be taking obligation again and again. So how does this work out?
That's a good question. I think, why would somebody invest in you when they get nothing out of you, right?
Mhm, mhm.
So that's where, yeah, that's actually difficult things. Even I see a lot of people approach me in terms of advice, because we don't have that kind of quality time to give those things. It's again a very tricky question. I think this is where your actual life skills come into play. Uh, I mean, figure out who can actually be the best judge. So one of the key things what I'll share with you, networking, right? So there are a lot of conferences, there are a lot of these things. Talk to people. Like suppose you have alumni mates or you have something where people visit, talk to them. Or there are certain group of people where networking groups, right?
Mhm.
Suppose like there's this lady like Indranui, etc. says, so they take some learnings from key important learnings and have a sharing. See, sometimes what happens is, it's not people just don't involve. People just don't seek anything in return. They just want to have a very good conversation, right?
Mhm,
So
mhm.
initiate some good conversation. uh, yeah, so it's a difficult thing, but keep keep moving. That's what I suggest. There are networking clubs, there are some things. Start on, rather than directly approaching to a question or a topic, first try to build up the relation and then try to add on. See, being a student, it becomes difficult, but once you go to the corporate world, it becomes easy, a bit easy.
Okay, got it. And sir, typically, how does the mentor-mentee, once the mentor has been finalized, does this happen that there are certain expectations we need to set with the mentor beforehand? And how typically does a mentor-mentee interaction proceed, the frequency of interactions?
So I think, see, until it's in corporates you have, right, when you're doing some internship, etc., so those things happen on a very niche way. You have timelines, they discuss on these topics, you align on these topics, and you get back. So these things usually don't happen in life. So you have to understand, you have to do your homework. So I need the inputs on this. So I will talk about this, and make that homework, and uh, share with them beforehand, so that while discussing you have less time to do those kind of introductions. And yeah.
Okay, got it. Thanks a lot, sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, so in the very beginning of the session, we established the understanding that arts people tend to be more good at people skills or soft skills. So I wanted to understand, the motive of my question is to understand what in the duration of 3 or 4 years, what is the difference between the actions or activities that arts students are involved in versus the science students are involved in. So I wanted to understand what are the small actions or small activities which make them good at people management skills versus the science students.
Right. So first obvious thing is realization, right? So once you realize that we have a drop in that area, that itself is a big thing for us, right? So sometimes see, the way that's the reason I've shared that picture, Manmohan Singh versus Modi, right? So having a lot of knowledge, we don't open up much, and we don't talk very clearly. The kind of clarity we expose to people is limited, right? We are very much convenient talking to our network of people. You may be convenient to talk to your bunch of people, not to somebody who is layman or somebody this thing. So maintain, understand that thing, and there has to be a lot of practice in doing these conversations, right? It doesn't happen overnight. Even we give the example of Modi quite an often, but he hasn't developed it like that, right? Over a period of time, he has come from the scratch, right? From at grassroots level, he started this giving to that gyan, and then eventually he has evolved to a very good speaker. So that's how even there's a saying that goes, even Obama, when he delivers any speech, he rehearsals it not less than 10 to 15 times, right? So that's the kind of commitment or the practice which the leaders put. Even I see in the corporate world also, people while delivering to a bunch of audience, they put in a lot of efforts on communication. Not that they are not good at it, but they want to have that strong essence delivered to people. That's very important. I think for people like us, very strong in the STEM area or from the engineering background, to grow in the careers, I think the next level of growth will come from that area, from arts. How good you are at arts. Because anyway, your engineering skills, you will be honing it, or you have it already, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So if any more questions are left, then we can move towards the thank you note for today's session, so that we can end it on a good note.
I wanted to ask one more question, sir.
Yeah, sure.
Sir, I have worked with various teams in various activities. So I've worked with people highly, excuse me, yeah. So I've worked in multiple teams. I've worked with people who are very empathetic, and I've worked with people who were not so empathetic. So in some teams, the team culture was not very good, or in fact, it was bad. The leadership and team management was bad by the higher people. And in some teams, the people were very empathetic, so there was a trust that if anything is being done, that team members are being taken care of. So how do we navigate between those two types of people? And when we come in a team where people are not so empathetic for now, how do we like be the source of that empathy in the team?
Okay. Again, a very good question. I think one of the key things anywhere, right? So it's the culture of the uh, culture of the organization or culture of the wherever it is. It plays a very critical role. If the culture is not good, I think these things make little sense. This is true for any segment. So how to survive in those kind of scenarios is one. Uh, you know. Uh, be very transparent, be very authentic. So see, we cannot change people, right? If the entire people are you are working with an entirely different set of people with different kind of motivations, we cannot that may not work. So but usually we assume that people are good, but with the culture not fitting to the strategies of the organization, there is always a kind of atmosphere which is not conducive or favorable to work. So in those scenarios, complement each other. Try not to dominate each other. I think at a time, even you try to, complement the other team member. Don't try to dominate. Express transparency. Be authentic. So slowly things would improve. Again, so this is a very big topic. Actually, this is how companies get ruined, companies don't, startups fail. These are the very key things. I mean, this is exactly the way they crumble, right? So yeah, so it's not just one person. You cannot be the Kapil Dev, right? Being the key player to lift the World Cup. There will be very few Kapil Devs, right? Yeah, so but do your best. I mean, understand the basics, do your best. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, right? It's not that every time you experience the success.
Okay, so sir, I will ask a follow-up question over that. Let's say I'm giving a scenario that I'm working in a team and I recognize that I'm not a good fit to the team, and the team is not. Let's say I'm a empathetic person and work in a team work manner, but the team is not very much has the team spirit. So, but the opportunity that I've been working on, that was my dream. So, what should I do in such a case that I can either leave or I can keep doing the work with the same team.
So I suggest stay there because that's your dream. That's your dream of work area, right? Stay there. And the second thing is I understand one thing. When you have those headwinds, when you are facing that kind of opposition, that's where the real learning comes, right? Always working at the comfort area, you don't get that learning. When you face those kinds of opposition, actually you will learn a lot of things, right? When you are taking that kind of waiting, you will understand a lot of things. So you have to stay there, face that heat, and eventually see, ultimately it's like you will understand, right? You will gain much understanding, you will play. It's like even if I take the example of cricket, like the way Cheteshwar Pujara done the batting, right, recently in Australia, uh, in that with England, right? Stay there, take all those beatings, but ultimately you will survive, right? So sometimes that strategy also will work. Sometimes you have to play that role as well. every time we need not be, Virat Kohli's and Rohit Sharma's. Sometimes that role also becomes important.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
I think we can move ahead. So I will present my screen for a while.
I think I have expected a lot of questions from grades, etc. A lot of apprehensions from mechanical guys, but
Actually, a lot of people are not from in the meet are not from mechanical. So this may be the reason that.
Okay, it's a bunch of people. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a mix.
It's like mostly first year right now, so they don't know how tough it is.
Yeah.
So this is one memento from our side, from Student Counseling Services to you, sir. You have been in Varanasi for much longer than us. You know it better. And we believe that this small memento will actually replenish your memories of the city, holy city of Varanasi. So,
sure.
Yeah, like if talking about the session, we expected it to be based on negotiation skills, but it was much more than that. Together with negotiation, we got a lot of wisdom regarding life. If I talk about negotiation, so 2 points I liked a lot. First one was which I could resonate well with, were basically that negotiations starts from your subconscious mind, and secondly that in negotiations a lot of work is understanding the person in front of you. So I think these two were the lines which I like the most. And apart from that, when you moved on to life and told us told us about the importance of coaches and mentors, and together with that read, talk. So I think these two lessons we all can incorporate in our lives to grow much more than what we are to where we are currently. And ultimately, while answering Gagan Bhaiya's question, your point of Cheteshwar Pujara and like real learning being coming from the uncomfortable zone. So these are few points which I will not be able to easily forget, and I think most of the participants will not be either. So this was a little thank you note from our side.
Thank you so much, Kailash. I think you have summarized very well. I think very well done.
Yeah. One more thing to add, that is for our participants, like we have put the feedback form for today's session in the meet chat only. We request all of you to fill it up. And secondly, during the meet, there came a lot of points like networking, talking to other people. We feel hesitant to talk to others. So this workshop is actually conducted by Speak Up by SCS. So Student Counseling Services has taken this one initiative named Speak Up, wherein we meet 4 days a week online to have group discussions. So whatever your learning is, you can share with others. Others can share it with you. So that is also a one-stop solution for what we talked today. So you can check the links in the form only. We have put it up in the description. That will help. And please fill the form. So I think Divyansh, do you have anything left to say? Just unmute yourself.
Oh, so sorry. I guess that is pretty much everything. And sir, I just had one request. Like you gave us some book, and like it would be very nice if you suggest some more managemental books if you have read something. So like if you message me, then I'll forward them to other participants too.
Yeah, sure. I will.
Your Goodreads and all.
Keep reading. I suggest you people like being in a technical college, start reading different books. Apart from your, these things, you'll definitely succeed, right?
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Thank you to the audience as well.
Sir.
Bye.
Yeah, especially thank to the audience. Like the Q&A session went very well. Like, everyone raised their doubts. Okay, bye. Okay, so गया सबका.
Divyansh, I believe you can stop recording.
हाँ जी. Stop recording.